Hi, we're TEAM37 and we're going to reflect and answer the following questions from the blog 1. The first question is, why can't pet food makers like Purina eliminate this worker abuse?
Um, I think, well, at least we understand that it's not under their control because there are like big suppliers that give the supply to them to the companies that make the food for the pets. So at the end, like they don't have a direct relationship with the workers that go and that are mistreated because of the industry. So at the end, it's not really their fault because they don't have a uh, contact with them, a direct contact with them.
And not also that it's not their fault, but that is not under their control, because as it's obvious, it's a thing that's under the supply chain and how it's structured, and they are the suppliers of food makers. And food makers, the only thing they do is buy the raw material in this case, in order to produce the food. So if these suppliers are the ones that are abusing the workers, the Purina still doesn't, like, they can have a lot of control on how they work.
For,
Because they can't lose competitivity against other pet food makers when not buying this seafood from those organizations.
And another factor is that governments continue protecting, and they don't make any difference to protect the work abuse. So in Thailand, the government don't get involved in these problems.
I think that for changing this, they could make a vertical integration and start producing their own food and having their own like places where they can make the fish and the fish or seafood in this case grow, but this would cost them a lot, not only because of the plant of production, but also because of the workers they should like a contract in order for them to get the food, the raw material.
And another thing, we do understand as well that they have different factors of why they continue buying from those suppliers. For example, costs. The article said that they are one of the cheapest on producing and getting fish. So there are various factors that affect this decision. We do believe as well that Purina or food makers should have a moral point of view and start, for example, having a vertical integration or something to try and avoid or do something about the workers' treatment. And well, I believe that's all.
Hi, we are the TEAM37 and we have decided to explain better the supply chain by doing a little like sketch of what we understand the industry or for example the case of Purina follows the supply chain. First of all, we divided we divided into different segments such as fish industry, pet food, and the market. We did this because we understand that in each segment, the activities are completely different from each other, and not and even if they are related, they are not made by the same person. So first we have the fish industry, where we have the fish pond, where the fishes are like located. In this case, would be for example Thailand. So the fishes are here in the fish pond, and the workers collect them. Once they collect them, they go to the fish supplier, which is the company that is like paying for the fish pond. And after doing this, it changed the industry, and it goes in this case particularly to the pet food industry. From the fish supplier, that the fish like is already divided like in different packages. It goes to the pet food industry, to the processing plant or production plant, where the fish is processed and mixed with the other ingredients of the pet food and then it goes to the pet food plant. And for example, in this case, then it goes to Purina from the processing plant of Purina. Purina is into another plant. We call it the pet food plant, where here they package it. They end up mixing like the different part of croquettes that each package of food has, and they distribute it to different, like, for example, supermarkets or pet food or pet stores, etc. So Purina send it here to the company that is, or to the plant that is in charge of distributing the product, and by here they send it to different distributors, which be like would be like here in the middle, and then they sell it to the customer. The customer give it to the pet, and well, at the end, the final consumer is the pet, but who pays for it is the consumer. Is we call it consumer, which is already in the market. So we understand this is the supply chain of this case particular, and we have also decided to mention like the primary activities of the value chain, because we also understand it's very important to see how it's related each industry in the primary activities, only the primary activities of the value chain. Even if it's not required, we understand it's very important to also talk about it, so we have also made it. The primary activities of the value chain, as all of us know, are inbound logistic operations, outbound logistics, marketing and sales and services. In the inbound logistics, we have made like a very general value chain because we don't know a lot of details of the company. But we put, for example, the primary materials, such as the ingredients. In this case, what we care the most of, what called the attention the most, is the fish, for example. So the inbound logistics would be like the primary material, the ingredients, such as fish, would be also like the workers that are here, like in this industry. But as we can see, these primary activities is not necessarily related with the activities of Purina, because it's external, but it still is part of the value chain because it's the inbound logistics. Then it goes to operation, where finally Purina like have control over it, and it's the processing of the primary material into pet food. They process the primary material, such as corn, or I don't know the ingredients they use for the pet food, but the other ingredients with the fish, and they package it. They divide it by pet or by value added of each food. So this is the part of operation. The outbound logistics is quite different because it's like the pet food brands such as Purina, Merrick's, Friskies, and it is a little bit more about distribution, where they located this. Like if they put it into a supermarket or in pet store, or if they decide to put like their own store. So this is more like the outbound logistic. The distribution is also a very, very important thing, and that pet food industry like usually take a lot into account, because they have to be really strategic about how they're going to present or distribute their products, especially for all the competition and the growth they have right now. The marketing and sales, which is also part of the primary activities of the value chain, usually in this kind of industry, is with massive media, so such as TV, hoarding. They are like hoarding in the streets a lot. They are like very strategic, where they put like the posters inside, for example, the supermarket, how they put it, how they are located, which kind of pets they use. But in general, it's like massive media, especially TV and hoardings, and the services as well. In this kind of industry, their services are not like extraordinary, but some companies such as Purina, we have searched that what they do sometimes is that they give samples or they make like recreational activities for the pets, or they make like focus group of pets, but like they do a massive call, and you take your pet with you, and they give like the samples to the pets, and they can taste in by this way how well the product fits what the pet likes. So this is the work we have done, and we will talk a little bit more about this in the next part of the video. I hope you have understood, like, or we have explained ourselves well enough the supply chain and the value chain, the primary activities part. We are TEAM37, and well, thanks for watching.
And the second question is, describe the pet seafood supply chain. And well, as a team, first of all, we moved the place of manufacture in Thailand.
Well, after the company, the supplier, the Thai company, then goes the movement or transportation of the seafood to where Purina has its manufacturing.
Another
location.
important factor to consider in the supply chain is the technological innovation, which we believe is not that great, because instead of innovating a lot on how to catch fish and keep costs low or meet the demand, they are choosing labor, forced labor, and so, well, that's not really technological innovation.
Also, it's important to mention the manufacture, the industries in Thailand, where costs are cheaper than in the United States.
I think that the most critical part of the supply chain of this industry is the inbound logistics that are like the worst, because it's the place where the workers are mistreated, and they have no control of it. If they would like own their inbound logistics, or they would find a way to change the main ingredient to another one that has a better like treat in the past, I think at the end it would have a value aggregated much larger than the one that is offered right now.
After transportation of the raw material, it comes the manufacturing of the actual food or cat food, and then the retailer, in this case Purina, would take the seafood or the actual cat food, to the grocery stores.
And outbound logistics are a really important part as well, considering that pet food is a growing industry, and it's actually growing in an accelerated pace. And if we quote the article, it will be meeting an insatiable demand. So outbound logistics are a really important part to consider in this supply chain.
So as conclusion, we think that it's important for these type of companies to keep the competitivity, even if it's not that moral to keep buying food from Thailand. They can't afford to
Change.
Like people
To go bankrupt.
to go bankrupt, these companies, because of not being competitive enough and increasing the cost by buying such companies in Thailand and doing a vertical integration. It's something that needs time.
A huge investment as well.
And also, it's important to mention that those companies that are the suppliers, most of the times are like a monopoly, because there are not a lot of suppliers in Thailand of seafood.
Thank you.
Thank you.